Malcolm McCauley, physical therapist with the LightSpeed Lift system. This is week 3 of relevant information to help everybody get the most use out of their LightSpeed systems, or any bodyweight support system. We've talked a little bit about what difference it makes when you lift up a little bit, how people tend to relax. We've talked about the piezoelectric effect and the niceness of actually having some impact and how that actually charges the system. I want to switch today and talk about a client, someone who came into therapy in a very discouraged point. And I think people can relate to when you've had an injury, how much that affects you, not just physically, but mentally too. We all take on a little bit of doom and gloom. We sag a little bit. We just don't have that zest for life. Well, this client came in after having both knees replaced. And she was excited to have the knees replaced, but they were replaced at the same time. So a lot of pain, which was expected. But she did not expect it that 6 weeks later, she would still not have any clue of how to walk. It was painful. She had lost hope. Very much a gardener, animal person, wanted to get back to that full living, liked what she did, but didn't see how she was going to be able to do that, leaning heavily on a walker, walking about with stiff legs, and somewhat of a scowl on her face. And this was a very important person to me. So, getting this right, we were just starting to work with the LightSpeed concept of lifting through the hip. Hadn't tried it with very many people. So, ultimate test. If it didn't work here, I was probably done. Probably wouldn't have still been going. But it's like, okay, here we go, now or never. And you got to realize this system was a lot more crude in those days. The shorts we had weren't they weren't as good anyway. The lift system wasn't as good, but like, okay, let's give it a go. So she walks in, stumbling, kind of grumpy, leaning over, not her usual full of energy self. And I said, well, okay, let's get you up on the treadmill and we'll see what happens with it. She was skeptical. She could barely walk with a walker, and I was going to put her on a treadmill. But she has a little bit of faith, and she has a little bit of skepticism around some of my ideas. So, got her up. I'm going to use the belt today. She had shorts in those days. But let's just go through putting on the belt again. And we buckle, get it set just above the knee with some good strong Velcro. Realistically, it takes 45 seconds to do. So once we had her comfortable in the shorts, she's on the treadmill, clip the back, clip the front, and I was the one doing the clipping for her because she was not very mobile at that point in time. Once she was clipped in, you could see the demeanor change a little bit. All of a sudden she was standing up a little straighter, head was moving a bit more, little bit of a smile. I wouldn't call it a huge smile yet, but a little bit of a smile. And so we started to do some pre-walk activity, just lifting up a leg, putting it back down, feeling what it was like to be able to move her body up above, all of a sudden going no hands. She's got a little bit more expression in her face. We didn't try jumping, we didn't try running. Started up the treadmill. Slowest speed that it had. And had her just feeling what it was like to move with the belt. First one leg, then the other again. Both knees have been replaced to 6 weeks prior to this, so she hadn't been bending the knee. When she first stepped on, you could see the white knuckles, and then gradually, again, standing a little bit straighter, able to move a hand, not so much white knuckle, got her to swing one arm freely. The legs were going okay. It wasn't as much of a hip movement, but actually a bend the knee, switching the arms off, gradually taking away so that she was walking without holding onto something, leaning heavily onto something for the first time in 6 weeks. And you could see the shine come back into her eyes because she had been so discouraged. She'd lost hope. And when you lose hope, it takes a lot of the joy out of life. And it takes a lot of the incentive to keep trying to get better and better. She walked about 5 minutes that day, stopped the belt, left it on just to get a little bit of sway, feel what that was like, turning her body upright. 5 minutes was the most she had walked for a long time, so she was a little bit fatigued. Took the equipment off. And when she stepped down again and put her hands on the walker, you could tell that she wasn't leaning into it. The knuckles were more relaxed, and her face was smiling for the first time. So giving people back hope is what really keeps me going. If it wouldn't have worked that day, wouldn't be here today, because I don't think my wife would let me be. Thanks. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the channel, leave any kind of comments that you may have, because I love the ideas that come in. Visit the website at www.lightspeedlift.com. Call us. Love to set up a trial in your facility, your home, and bring the LightSpeed hope into your lives.